Hey guys, welcome back to Man Time. Today's episode, we have got a new piece of equipment on the farm. Super excited about this New Holland 660. I was having some issues with finding help to get the square bales out of the field, and this ought to help pretty well. Don't need any help other than forks on the end of the tractor and off the back of it and making round bales. But there's a little bit more to it than that. Luckily, I bought the baler from a guy like myself. He had the manual. He took me all through it. He showed me where he has actually got marked in here what bearings have been replaced. Good notes all the way through the manual on everything he has done. And then he also showed me some of the kind of tips and tricks on it. But I want to get this thing going, see if it's functional. He did mention this cylinder was leaking, and I did plug it in, and it is in fact leaking. So that'll be the first repair on it. It's going to be to repack the cylinder. One tip for you, if you've got one of these and you're having trouble getting the hydraulics hooked up, when I went to hook up the hydraulics, there was pressure in the system, and it wouldn't allow that little spring-loaded ball to depress and go into the tractor. So you just got to kind of bang it on something and release that pressure, and then it goes right in. But if you're going to be storing your round baler, I guess the thing to do there is to rock that lever to make sure that there's no pressure after the machine is off. And that's true for if you're going to be replacing a cylinder, trying to get the pressure out of your hydraulic system on whatever implement you're running. Shut the powerhouse, the tractor off, the whatever you're running off, backhoe, so on and so forth. Let all the stuff go to the ground, and then rock the levers back and forth with the machine off, and that stuff will all kind of settle down, and that way you know there's no pressure in the system. So that's what I've done here. And so first thing is going to be getting this off. I was going to try to fire it up. I have some hay cut and actually run the baler. Going through the manual here, the first thing you want to do is start it up, run at mid-throttle for 10 minutes, shut it off, and then check all your bearings. So that was actually going to be the first step, but we didn't quite get that far with this cylinder needing to be repacked. So let's see if we can get it off of there. It looks like there's a few different ways we can try to do that, but you know, nothing in the manual saying how to remove each individual cylinder, so you kind of got to figure it out, and maybe a YouTube video will help you out if you're trying to do it at the house. So New Holland 660, we're going to be test running it, changing out the cylinder, repacking it, and then putting it in the field and running it out a little bit. So if that's something you enjoy, subscribe. There's going to be more of it on the channel here, so let's get started. Welcome to Man Time. Alright, so here's the situation here. You've got a 45-degree fitting coming into the cylinder, and then you've got this shutoff valve, which is used to lock the pressure in the cylinder to change out the belts on this unit here. And so you can't, you know, twist this around. You're going to twist up your hose. And it looks like somebody's already been in here and tried to do the same job. But they couldn't get this off, and so you've got this fitting is loose right there. So it's loose at this fitting coming into here, and I put a set of this tool here, crescent wrench, on there, and it started rounding it over. And now I've got a regular wrench on it. It's just wanting to round right over. So let's see here. A little bit more blaster on there, and maybe a big cheater pipe. Alright, well, that blaster's doing its thing up here. We'll get in here and take a look at what's going on. So you can see here we got some rusty chain. I'll come in here with the blaster and just lube everything up, penetrating oil. So there's a dirt dauber's nest full of spiders doing its thing. That's good. Another one back here. Yeah, you can see here there's been some replacement stuff going on. What do we got up here? Okay, a lot more kind of neat stuff going on up in this area. There's a clutch up there, and a grease circ. Very cool stuff. Oh, yeah, another grease circ there. So that's another thing, after you go through and read the manual. See, it's even telling you there, read the manual, dummy. So I've read the manual. It's a slow read for sure. That all looks to be lined up, but it gives you a good starting point. Once you get into the machine, I mean, they've got little kind of helpers along the way here to grease everything up. But as far as like setting your spring tension, setting your slack in your chains, how to do that, you know, all that stuff is in the manual, where your adjustments need to be. And this one looks like it's got, you know, tensioners on it, so it's gonna act the way it should when the springs are set correctly and all that good stuff. So, okay, that's this side of her. Now, if we come over to the front of it here, and this is front of it, it's got a inspection panel here, and this is just basically all of your twine, and this is a twine wrap, and then there is our electronics for the auto wrap, and that's basically just going to tell you when it's going to start wrapping. You can get your drive shaft down here, clutch, or yeah, clutch there. Let's see, it's got a handle up here. And down in here is what you want to be looking for as far as like the wear on these gears here. That's what I read up on the forums anyway, making sure those are all good, and they've still got like a flat on the top of them there. A couple of them are a little chewy. That might be some of that hay in there. You've got on this one here a replacement belt. Luckily the guy had the original belt that had been restrung by New Holland. They have to do the restringing there at New Holland. So let's see if we can get down here without killing ourselves. And then up in the front here, you've got drive shaft going to the PTO, and again your hydraulic hoses here. Let's go around to the other side and see what's going on over there. Really nice tires on this one. You know, the first thing I asked the guy is, before I went over there and looked at it, was, you know, if I decide to get the thing, does it have tires that'll go down the road? And he was like, yeah, sure does. Really nice belts on it. Again, tires got me about 50-60 miles down the road. So that was good. On this side, more of the same. This side is actually where you set your, let's see here, you got the number of wraps of bale twine set by this. And then this little key here is how you set your bale to the size of diameter you want it. Oh, and look at there, a neat little thing that kind of shows that. So if you put it over here, it's a real big bale. Put it over here, it's a real small bale. And that's with this here. He's got it down a little ways. It says to start off at number 5, but we'll just leave it there, since that's the guy that was running it. He kind of knew the machine and knew kind of what it was doing. So here's our electronics here. You got sensors, and it shows, you know, you want 5 millimeters of distance there from from the end of the sensor to where it's going. Now this one here kind of concerned me. It looks like it needs to lose a link in that one, but yeah, I don't know. It's tensioned up under here, and it's got good tension on it there. I'm a little unsure on that one. I think I want to try running it for a little bit before I make any major changes. And this is all kind of bound up in here. But anywho, that's the inner workings of it. Let's get back and try to get the cylinder off of there to get it rebuilt. And you can see here, somebody didn't follow the golden rule. When changing one hose out, change two out. So you got one changed out, and then you got another one that hasn't been changed out. Typically, you just want to change both of them. That's what I'm going to do with the cylinder on the other side. And here on the cylinder on this side, it looks like, yeah, it looks like, well, no, it looks like one stock hose here, and then one has been changed out up there. So, and then stock hose here. But, I mean, it doesn't look too bad. This is a 90s machine. This is going to be a 98, I think the guy said. So, I mean, not terribly old where you've got the rod and the hoses, but you've still got a couple new ones on here, which, you know, why wouldn't you just change both of them? You're right there, you're doing the work, you're at the store, you know, spend the extra 20 bucks. So, anyways, let's get these hoses off the other side and get this cylinder off. Yeah, this looks like it should be the easiest one, right? Because I can latch onto this really nice and secure up against here. Up here, I'm going to have to get that off anyway, but I'm going to have to hold this down somehow. There's nothing real secure. And then same with this one. You know, this whole bit of tubing up here is alright. Let's see what we got here. Don't understand why you're so tight. No, it's just rounding it right over. Okay, so this is wanting to flex down and in. So let's see if I can get this on here somewhere to stop it from doing that. I lock it on here. Should keep it from going anywhere. Okay. Okay, so now with that holding it, hopefully I can bring it around here. And cheater pipe. Hard all the way around, but came off of there. It'll be a whole lot easier to get this off, like down in the vise or something, so we'll call that a victory. Alright, so here's the upper part of the cylinder, and you can see there it's got a bolt on it, and it's got some flats right in there. So we'll try to twist on that, and then if this starts moving, we'll have to get something on here. I guess this is why they make air tools, huh? We've got our top quality IR 600. Alright, just like that. No issues there. Don't want to lose that. Cool. Alright, since I'm going to replace these hoses anyway, and it's probably going to be easier to get that one off there, and I'm going to have to do it anyway, of course. We'll do the same thing that we did down there, up here. It's not going to work. Up, lefty-loosey. And just snag onto it right here. God, dang, those are tight. Really, New Holland? We have to do it. Yeah, these are exposed to the elements. You'd think these would be the first ones to be changed, but I guess not. All right, well, peace of mind. Be good to know I got new hoses on there, especially seeing as this one is about ready to come apart as it is. Oh, these are brass. Look at there. Let's see if we can get this cylinder off there. Looks pretty straightforward. Just wanted to show you real quick here. Check that out. Back when they used to take pride in making their tools really, really good, they'll go ahead and stamp their name right on there. I'm proud of that one. USA. Good stuff. Okay, disconnected, fully disconnected. Alright, easy. Alright, first thing we're going to try to do is get this off of here. And I can already see I'm missing the most important tool of the whole job. There we go. Now we're ready. Okay, this one is a 7/8, and it is just super stuck. I'm just rounding off every corner that I go to here. So I think the only way to get this off of here is going to be to kind of shock it off of there. So we'll try that. But yeah, this is ready to go anyway. Okay, how are you looking? You look alright. There we go. Should I try the big breaker bar first, or should I hammer first? Let's hammer. I think it needs shock. That working? No. Nothing. I mean, it's way on here. Yeah, it just rounds right over. Alright, last ditch effort here. Now, will a breaker bar work on this or no? Oh, no, not gonna work. Nope. Why are you so on there? I just don't, I don't get it. Help me understand! Hammer? Maybe just a really, really big hammer, just kind of lightly. You think? I mean, you can see my go-to is probably the hammer, but not gonna. See, that's wanting to release it, I think. Nope, it's just coming right apart. Coming around. Rounding off more corners. Rounding them over. Rounding them right off. Okay. Pinch and twist, pinch and twist. Pinch, twist, pinch, twist. I don't like you. Don't like anything about you. Everybody else acting real cool. There. Look at your buddy here. He's coming right off. He wants to be replaced. Yeah, see, both of these were in real bad shape. I think they're the only two hoses exposed on the machine, but they're still running stockies. So these are definitely due for replacement. I really just want to cut this so badly. Let's put some heat on it. See what that does. Alright, heat worked. Whew, alright. If you're worried about the Teflon in there. I was too, so immediately after I got done there, I went and checked it out. There is a little Teflon around the ball valve right there, and it is completely undamaged. So I got it off there, got it under the garden hose quick enough to save that. Well, it started out as a Baler video, kind of turned into a maintenance video, but that's kind of how all my videos are, right? They start out as doing something, and then they end up as fixing something. That's the process, though. Run it, break it, fix it, and repeat. So, somebody was mentioned in my stubborn cylinder disassembly and my hydraulic cylinder, some of the cylinders have a Allen head screw that needs to be taken out before you can take out, you know, the gland here. And this is one of those. But also, it doesn't twist off. So, it's got like a dust cap on it here. And it's got like a seal. The seal is actually kind of dented here. Let me let you look at it a little bit closer. Alright, so let's get you right in here and see what's going on. You can see there's a seal, maybe an integrated dust ring right there. It looks like there may be a clip down inside of there, so I may have to try to pry this off. And then there's also the Allen right there. So this one is going to be one of those types where you have to get that Allen screw out of there to get this off of there, but there's no twist off end cap. So they can be, you know, these two different ways. Another thing I see on here, this is somebody's vice marks here. And then this is somebody's, looks like hammer marks. So this might be tougher than anticipated, because it looks like somebody tried to do this before. And from the looks of these hoses, I mean, somebody was definitely trying to get this apart and not doing such a hot job. Alright, let's start off by trying to find our Allen size here. Is it American? Votes down there in the comments section. American or metric? New Holland. Ah, very American. Oh, look at that. It's just hand tight. Okay, that's easier. So there we go. Little Allen screw. Looks like I can thread it in about 3 times. Well, about twice. Once and a half. And whatever's holding it in there should come out at this point. The bigger issue is down here. Let me see if I can get this seal out of there, and then we can dive down and see if there's a clip inside of there. I'm pretty sure that's it. I mean, if you're doing stuff like this at the house, you don't feel comfortable doing it, just do what I do. It's already broken. If you have to take it into a hydraulic shop to have it rebuilt, they're still going to rebuild it. You know, you aren't losing out anything by breaking that seal. You got to have it replaced anyway. So let's do it. Try to get you in here as close as we can. I mean, I can definitely see something that's parted right down in there. I mean, the real key for any of these jobs is identifying your order of operations before you get too far in. And I'm seeing that where this screw was is behind where this ring is. So either way, and I can see that the ring is seated inside a recess in this cylinder here. So the question is, does this seal and dust cap come off before the ring? I'm going to try one thing here, and that is going to be to extend the cylinder out and see if something just doesn't start popping loose. Okay, see there? Now we figured it out. Good thing I had a catch can into there. Alright, so once we pulled this out, that exposed our ring down here. And now we can start making some progress. See, that's the person with the hammer here wasn't thinking about order of operations. Now that is not to say that I have a way to get this ring out of there. It's just saying I kind of figured out the way that it's supposed to come out. Okay, I got that. Alright, so maybe at that vantage point there you can kind of see what's going on, but there is a ring right there. Now, if I can get a screwdriver up under it, and I guess if I just pushed it down, and maybe this one would come up. Alright, this might work. Sparks. Alright, so I'm not a huge fan of this retention method. And you can see here, it is just wanting to fight me. But you know what, I guess if I work it around from the other side, maybe I can get it to come over the lip here. Aha! I don't know if you saw that, but it's completely free. Now I can grab it with a pair of pliers, which I should have somewhere here. Actually, I need a needle nose here, but yeah, I'm going to. Well, maybe not. Leverage, once again. There we go. That was our culprit there. Okay, so we got her out, just pulled it straight out of the end of that cylinder there. Found the damaged area, and it was the seal inside of here, one of the glands, as they call them. But it's completely shot and fallen apart here. So that needs to be replaced. There's some flat spots on the O-ring part of it here with some seals. It looks like that may be, yeah, there's some missing chunks out of that also right in there. And then of course our dust seal, and we'll have to get a new one of those. But let's see if we can get this cap off the end of it here and get this assembly apart. That one came off there all right. Probably clean that up with a little emery too. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, all this stuff is pretty tight on here. Let's see if we can just kind of ease it off of there. Alright, so that's what our piston end looks like. Our glands for that. I don't know if that's standard or not, but we'll figure that out at the hydraulic shop. And then yeah, what else do we got here? Here's our dust seal. Figure out how to get that out of there. They really don't want to mess with this stuff at the hydraulic shop. They want you to have it removed. So it looks like the easiest way for getting that out is to come in from the back side here with a punch and force it out. But it's good to have like your pieces here. This is all one solid piece, right? You had this part that's supposed to be completely enclosed, and this part that's seeing the elements here with our Allen locking screw there. So, okay, well, we'll get this to the hydraulic shop and see if we can get her fixed up. That wasn't me, by the way. I don't know if you can see the damage there. That was the previous person's attempt at trying to rebuild the cylinder. But we'll get it done the right way. Okay, so we went to the hydraulic store, we got some new seals, and when I brought in, these parts with the seals on them, the guy just gave me like a really confused and kind of bewildered look because there was the wrong seals all over. Right here we had, let's see here, one of these type of seals, right, with the red going around it to seal it there. That was wrong. And then also on the actual piston, they had one of these things, just an O-ring, with 2 flat washers. And that was wrong, I guess. So, luckily, it's a good hydraulic store. The guy said, what's going on with this thing? I said, I don't know, it's just leaking. I need a new seal kit, rather than just going, okay, I'll just give you what you had on there. He actually gave me the right stuff for it. So I guess the piston needs something like this for this type of cylinder. And then this was actually supposed to have an O-ring and a flat washer. And the O-ring is going to go toward the piston, and then the flat washer goes toward the open side here. So you can find a diagram of that online here. And if you Google like hydraulic cylinder gland, it shows this, and this is exactly the way that he described it. You've got your gland with the O-ring. Sorry, it's right here. You've got a back lip O-ring, your rod seal, your wiper, all that stuff is exactly the way that he described it, and very incorrect on the one that came off of there. So, first thing we want to do is clean up. This has got some kind of nicks and dings in it, and some scoring. So I'm going to take a little file, clean that up. Of course, use your oil when applying these new glands. But that looks like a much better sealing. I mean, it's obviously correct versus what wasn't correct at when I took it apart. So let's get this cleaned up. For this here, I'm just going to use an old file. Of course, you don't want to take off material here, but you don't want it's kind of an abrasive ridge right around there, so you can kind of hear that. You just don't want that abrasive ridge in there. This is going to be your sacrificial piece. This is aluminum versus the steel cylinder. So this was meant to be kind of sacrificial, and I don't want to take off too much material. I just want to clean up these really kind of rough spots on it here. Alright, we got most of the really bad stuff off of there. I mean, it still looks fairly scored, and it is. I don't know how well you can see there, but it's got, marks kind of all through there. And that was taking the file this way, kind of against that vertical scoring, and we went, horizontally around there. But like I said, you don't want to take off too much material. You just want to smooth off some of those hard edges. The piston ring is going to be doing most of the heavy lifting there. And then this is just kind of cleaning it up, smoothing out, and getting any of the stuff off of there. Okay, so from there, clean rag. clean it up, get all the debris off of there. A couple tools you can use here when you're putting these new parts on is some of these picks with some kind of odd angles and stuff like that. Just kind of get your guy needs to get himself an assortment of these things. You know, straight one, curved one. What else do we got here? Little flathead. You know. All right, so let's see. We got some oil. We got some oil on our piston ring here. And we're going to start on this. Oh boy, this is going to be tight. I don't really know the best way to get this thing on. Oh geez, it's really tight. I mean, it's the right one, it's the right size. Getting it on here, that may be why the other guy abandoned using the right thing and opted for the easy thing. Oh man, and now it's all slick with oil. Oh boy. Alright, so looking at, you know, the resource that we have, right, YouTube, I've seen some videos on installing these piston seals with like a nylon strap or some sort of mechanical force to kind of break it over. Basically what I learned there was you just need brute force. So what we're going to do, let's get in here and look at it a little bit closer. Try not to stand in front of it too much, but you just need to get one side on and then just kind of lean into it and start working it over. Okay. That's how you get arthritis and a hernia. Oh, it's good. It's so good. Next thing we're going to be working on is our gland, and that's the part that goes on the end. And there were some spots here where in the previous repair attempt they drove the set screw down in the wrong place, and then of course the set screw's been driven in a couple different places there. But just gone through with the file, cleaned up some of these high spots. Again, this is a machined surface. You don't want to remove material because it's already two-dimension. But here you've got where that set screw went in. It's going to be high around there. Just keep your file nice and flat and work down that high spot until you can see those machining marks there, and then you're pretty well flat with everything else. But just kind of went over the whole thing like that just to make sure that we're nice and flat across there. And then come back and touch it up with your Scotch-Brite. A little bit of surface rust on there and some pitting. I don't think that's going to do too much against us here. Okay, clean rag, get all that stuff off of there, little pieces of metal and whatnot, especially down where our seals are going to seat. Yeah, this is one of those things, being a homesteader, being a farmer, you just got to figure this stuff out, and got to kind of love doing it. If this seems like it would be a chore for you, and you need to have somebody else do stuff like this, this life probably isn't for you, because this stuff will happen like as you're baling hay, and the store isn't always open, and you need to kind of improvise and figure it out. So okay, let's get some fresh oil in here, and we'll just kind of drizzle it all over. Let's see here. So there's two type of seals that go in, three type of seals, and I got a kit for two. since I'm assuming the other one's going to go out here before too long. So we've got our piston seal on the piston. Alright, so for this part here, we're going to need an O-ring, we're going to need a flat washer, our seal, our flat washer, and then a dust cap. I guess one of those things there is called a wiper. But let's just start with this inside one. And it's going to be sealing fluid this way, right? So the fatter part of the seal needs to go in the direction that it's sealing. Let's see if I can look at this as we're trying to get her in here. And just kind of shoving it in there, lined up in there. Kinked up on me a little bit inside on this side and on the top there. Okay, there we go. There's our first one, and that one was just inside of there, just sitting right there. Beautiful. Okay, next one is going to be our O-ring. Oh, nope, flat washer. Flat washer goes toward the outside air, so that will go on first. And again, just kind of brute forcing it down on there. And then our O-ring. Gonna lube this up. Brute force. Okay, so there, this is going toward the cylinder. It's going toward outside air. O-ring, flat washer, and nothing went on this side here. Alright, next is, and last is going to be our dust seal, and that is going to go like that. This is meant to keep stuff out, right? Dust seal, keeping dust out. So you want this facing out. Huh? And the easiest way to get these things on is just with something flat and pounding it down. Got it. Nothing like brute force with a little brass. Now we want to clean up our cylinder here. And let's see here. So this side with the threads here goes into the cylinder first. And I'm going to need to clean that out for sure. Had this sitting inside, but a little stuff got in there. But you kind of need to think about this stuff as you're reassembling, right? This is going to go into here first. It's going to have the piston on it, but you're going to need your gland up here, so everything is where it needs to be. And let's see here. You got to be thinking about, okay, this side is going to be facing out, which is going to be this side. So that's how it's going to go on. And it is going to be nice and tight. Oil, got it on there, nice and easy. So that's going to be holding back your oil and sealing both sides there on the actual cylinder walls here. And then our piston Let's see how this went on here. Is that right? I thought it was like this. See, this is a good reason why I video a lot of this stuff is, you know, how did this thing actually go on here? But we can take a look and do a little investigation here and look for the nut mark on here. And there's no marks, no marring on this side. Clean up our mating surfaces, most important thing. See, look at there. There was all kinds of aluminum and stuff on that mating surface. Okay, I'm going to call that a win. Alright, so I've cleaned out inside the inner race here for that lock ring. It all looks pretty good. Let's lube it up. You could also use something like Vaseline. That was kind of my dad's go-to. You pick up a lot of stuff from your dad, because Zoom Spot oil and Vaseline in the garage was like a staple for these type of jobs. Okay. Alright, here's our cylinder. Let's get nice and lubed on here and on here. And that was almost too easy. I don't know what happened there. Okay, now we are needing to kind of ease this back in there, and we'll just find a little chunk of something that fits inside of there. Old broken hay tine. Fits down there just perfect. Okay. There we go. Alright, now we've got our ring. And I think this is going to be another one of those kind of brute force. Might even be a vice grip thing. Oh, it's so close. Right tool for the job, right? Oh, that sun. Come on, man. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, let's take a look here. How do we do? Perfect. Alright, last thing we need to do is put our set screw in there. And I'm just going to run this out a little bit until this gland is as far out as I can get it here. I think that'll do it. Let's check it out here. Okay, snug that down in there. I think that does it. I think that's our cylinder rebuild. If you find these videos informative, entertaining, you know, try to do a little bit of both here. Make sure you are subscribed and thumbs up on this video. So other people can find it, and maybe it'll help them on their journey of, you know, rebuilding their old farm equipment and all kinds of. I do all kinds of stuff on this channel. Rebuilding old things, you always run into problems, and then figuring out how to fix them. That's primarily what happens here. So let's get this back on there. Oh, I've got some cool things to show you. I found some new stuff.